Assalamu alaikum. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? We are live. Wa alaikum salam. Everybody in the house, what's up? Man, look, we about to go in. What's happening? Assalamu alaikum. To the whole chat room, man. Your brother feeling good, man. We up in the building. Let me give some shout outs. Before we begin, hold on, before we start, hold up. All right, we back. Want to give some shout outs before we go in, see who all in the chat room. Okay, assalamu alaikum to Brother Patrick Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum to Dr. Marole. Assalamu alaikum to Brother Ricky. Okay, praise be to Allah, yep. Assalamu alaikum to, walaikum salam to Brother Devon Johnson in the building. Yes. And this is your brother, Malcolm Flex TV, coming back live and direct with another hitter. You know, this one was long overdue. I apologize for not doing a video on this subject yet. But we going in tonight. So I hope you got your pen and your pad, right? Because we going to school. You know what I'm saying? This is a class session. This is a class session. You know what I mean? And this is some valuable key information that we must know and be able to teach at the drop of a dime. Now, I will say that this information is not conclusive. It is not conclusive, right? Because I want to leave a way out just in case if there are any errors on my part, okay? I want to be able to dress down, cover down, and clean it up. All praises due to Allah. We got Sister Hairstyles by Owner. Assalamu alaikum to you. Walaikum salam, Mr. X. Walaikum salam, Brother Danubian. Yes, we going in. You know, and this is to vindicate the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Do y'all hear me? This video is to vindicate my teacher, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Okay? You know, and the teachings of the Nation of Islam. Peace to you, brother I am Sayuddin. Yes. So please take notes. If you can, even take clips from the video for things that I'm getting ready to show you based on the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in regards to the tribe of Shabazz, because we have many who believe that we in the Nation of Islam cannot defend these teachings that was given to us by our leader. And I will have to beg to differ that we can defend the teachings based on what we have been given by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Somebody talk black to me, right? There was a man by the name of Master Fard Muhammad who came with a peculiar teaching that has never been taught throughout the annals of history. I'm talking about a teaching that was hidden, a teaching that was a mystery to all people. I'm talking about a teaching that was only known by the root 12 or the 12 major scientists who had this hidden knowledge and wisdom. Okay, I'm talking about information about God that we have never heard before. I'm talking about information about ourselves that we have never heard before. I'm talking about information about the universe, about the planet, okay, that we have never heard before. You know? So just because the man came and gave us the wisdom, but didn't give us the actual means on how to prove the wisdom, doesn't mean that the wisdom isn't true. It doesn't mean that the wisdom is a lie just because he didn't explain it the way we felt that it should have been explained. But he left us with one picture, holding the Holy Quran, and in that picture, because it says in the picture, it says 1,000 words, but the main thing that the followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad got from that picture was to study, to continue to study, right? And that's what we do. We study, we learn, and we teach. We study, we learn, and we teach. Okay? But he gave us a peculiar teaching, right, about a man that he called was a scientist of 50,000 years ago, right? So if a man comes to make a claim like this about a people who lived 50,000 years ago, and he claimed that we are descendants of those ancient people, then what is the best way to prove this claim to the world? What is the best formula that we should use to vindicate this man's teaching that was given to us when he said that we were related and actual blood descendants of an ancient people who lived 50,000 years ago, right? And naturally, some of us have no reason to argue this claim. Why? Because we weren't there 50,000 years ago. We wasn't around 50,000 years ago. So it is only right for some of us to have some criticism. Why? Because we have no literature put in front of us telling us exactly or verifying exactly what the man taught. Right? So what is the best way for us to verify that these teachings are true? In my opinion, in my guesstimation, the best way that we can prove and disprove what this man taught is in our very own DNA. It's in our very own DNA, our very own genetic makeup, to prove that we, the black man and woman in the hills and wilderness of North America, are direct descendants of a people called the tribe of Shabazz. So go ahead and share this video. Share this video. Hold on one second. So today, this will be a very informative video. Okay, but it's not conclusive, but it'll be very informative. I guarantee you that. Right? So, now, again, the best way to verify that these teachings are true is through our very own DNA. Okay? So, ever since the debacle that happened between Sonetta and Brother Polite and myself, when we were supposed to have a discussion, they turned it to a debate, and I, disagreed with that. It wasn't because I didn't want to debate on the topic. I didn't mind having the discussion, but I had a problem with them setting it up as a debate last minute, not giving me a chance to study, do no research. I just don't go into nothing like that. Okay? That's just not my way. Right? But since then, I had the opportunity to do the diligent research. Okay? So, while doing my research, right, I use search engines like Google because it's just certain books that I don't have in front of me, right? But there is a lot of good information out there. You just have to be careful in deciphering, what's real and what's not real, right? So, let me read to those who don't really have a good understanding before I go into the DNA. Let me read who the tribe of Shabazz is, okay, to lay a base as a foundation. Hold on one second. Share my screen with you. Share my screen. Okay. According to the Nation of Islam, the tribe of Shabazz was a supposed ancient black nation that migrated into Central Africa. Okay? I want y'all to be mindful of that. That this is a black nation that migrated into Central Africa. Right? Led by a leader named Shabazz. The concept is found primarily in the writings of Wallace Fard Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad. According to the autobiography of Malcolm X, all the races except the white race were byproducts of the tribe of Shabazz. According to the Nation of Islam, the tribe of Shabazz was the only survivor of 13 tribes that lived on Earth 66 trillion years ago. Okay? It's one of the only surviving tribes out of 13 tribes who lived on the Earth 66 trillion years ago. After a rogue scientist, the messenger never said that, by the way, a rogue scientist. He never said that. After a rogue scientist blew up the planet, splitting off the moon, the other tribes perished. The tribe of Shabazz relocated to the rich Nile Valley of Egypt and the present seat of the holy city Mecca, Arabia. Right? So it's describing where these people are located. Take mental notes. It says the tribe of Shabazz relocated to the rich Nile Valley of Egypt in the present seat of the holy city Mecca, Arabia. Right? Okay. Are y'all with me? Y'all still there? Let me know if y'all still there, because I'm not gonna be doing this if y'all ain't with me. Cause this is about to be fire. So let me know. Are y'all even in the chat room? Cause I ain't seeing no movement. Okay, yeah, just let me know, cause I'm not gonna be putting this information out if people ain't gonna be paying attention. So I need y'all to pay attention today. Okay. All right, let's get it. So, in my research, okay, it came to me like this. In my research, right? As I was, just sitting up, chilling one day, and I was thinking like, man, okay, if there was a people who migrated into Central Africa from the rich Nile Valley of Egypt and Arabia, who were these people that inhabited this land around 50,000 years ago? And how can I trace them through genetics, through DNA? How can I track these people through DNA? So I, use a search engine, right? Hold on one second. I use a search engine, and I found some stuff. Right? I found some stuff. Now, I found a haplogroup called L3, mitochondrial DNA. Haplogroup mitochondrial DNA L3. Right? Mitochondrial DNA is the DNA of a woman or our mothers. Okay? This is when our mothers pass down their DNA to their child. It's called mitochondrial DNA. Okay? I found an African haplogroup L3, right? Who lived in these areas in East Africa, the rich Nile Valley of Egypt and Arabia. Right? So I found some notes. Okay? So, but in the language that the white scientists and scholars are using, they're saying that it's a back migration into Africa, right? It's a back, they basically saying that these people, haplogroup L3, who has the mitochondrial DNA of L3, they left Africa around 60 to 70,000 years ago, and they came back into Africa about 45,000 to 50,000 years ago. Okay, do y'all follow me? But in our language, we don't say we don't consider, well, we consider Arabia and Egypt, all that's Africa. We consider that Africa. Dr. Wesley Muhammad calls it Afrabia. You know what I mean? And he says that geographically, Arabia is still Africa. Okay, geographically, Arabia is still Africa. Right? Okay, hold on one second, because I wanna make sure I get the right article. I think that's the right article. Okay, so I'm gonna read what haplogroup L3. I don't know if y'all can see it on my screen. I'll blow it up. I'm going to read haplogroup L3 and what it is, the origin of it and all that stuff, right? Okay. Haplogroup L3 is a human mitochondrial DNA haplogroup. The clade has played a pivotal role in the prehistory of the human species. It represents the most common parent maternal lineage of all people outside of Africa. And for many people within the African continent as well. The origin, haplogroup L3s. L3's exact place of origin is uncertain. According to the recent African origin of modern humans out of Africa theory, the clade is believed to have arisen and dispersed from East Africa, initially thought to have occurred between 84,000 and 104,000 years ago. An analysis of 369 complete African L3 sequences placed the maximal date of the clade's expansion at around 70,000 years ago. This virtually rules out a successful exit out of Africa before 70,000 years, the date of the Toba volcanic super eruption in Sumatra, thus making an origin of expansion around 70,000 years ago most likely. The time to most recent common ancestor for the L3 lineage has also recently been estimated to date to between 58,900 and 70,200 years ago, around the time of and associated with the out of Africa expansion of the ancestors of non-African modern humans from Eastern Africa into Eurasia around 70,000 years ago, and also with the similar expansion within Africa around that time also from the east of the continent. Let me go down a little bit because I want to read the parts that are important. Phylogenetically, haplogroup L6 and L4 are the closest to L3 out of the L3 lineages. Both L6 and L4 are primarily distributed and have their greatest diversity in East Africa. Okay, let me go down a little bit. Hold on one second. Okay, an Asian center of origin and dispersal for haplogroup L3 has also been hypothesized based on the similar coalescence dates of L3 and its Eurasian distributed M and N derivative clades 71,000 years ago. The distant location in Southeast Asia of the oldest subclades of M and N. Okay, so they basically saying L3 is the mother and father, is the mother of the M and N subclades. I'm going to get to them in a minute. I just want to just kind of go through some of this right quick. And the comparable age of the paternal haplogroup D and E, right? So this is related. The L3 has a connection with the haplogroup D and E. That's important to remember. According to this hypothesis, after an initial out of Africa migration of early anatomically modern humans around 125,000 years ago, fully modern human L3 carrying females are thus proposed to have back migrated from the maternal haplogroup's place of origin in Eurasia around 70,000 years ago, along with the males bearing the paternal haplogroup E, right? So if we have a mitochondrial Eve, then we have a Y-Chromosome Adam, okay? Because if Shabazz 50,000 years ago left civilization with his family, according to Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, then he had his wife with him. They had women with them, okay? So the L3 mitochondrial DNA is connected to the haplogroup E, right? And that's significant. I'm going to explain a little later. Okay, let me go back a little bit. Okay. Okay, hold on. According to the hypothesis, after an initial out of Africa migration of early anatomically modern humans around 125,000 years ago, Fully modern human L3 carrying females are thus proposed to have back migrated from the maternal haplogroup's place of origin in Eurasia around 70,000 years ago, along with males bearing the paternal haplogroup E, which is also proposed to have originated in Eurasia. So they originated together. These new Eurasian lineages are then suggested to have largely replaced the old autochthonous male and female Northeast African lineages. According to other research, though earlier migrations out of Africa of anatomically modern humans occurred, current Eurasian populations descend from a later migration from Africa dated between 50,000 and 70,000 years ago. A study by Vi et al. 2019 on a newly discovered basal branch of maternal haplogroup N found in early Neo-North African remains suggests that haplogroup L3 may have originated in Africa between 60 to 70,000 years ago, with haplogroup N diverging from it soon after between about 50,000 to 65,000 years ago, either in Arabia or possibly North Africa, and haplogroup M originating in the Middle East. L3 is common in Northeast Africa and some other parts of East Africa, in contrast to other parts of Africa where the haplogroups L1 and L2 represent around 2/3 of mitochondrial DNA lineages. L3 sublineages are also frequent in the Arabian Peninsula, right? And that's important. Walaikum salam, brother Ty God. That's important, right? So let me show you all a map. Let me show you some maps of where L3 inhabited. Hold on. So I got so many windows open. Let me show you a map right quick. Let me show you some maps. Give y'all a visual of what this stuff looks like. Okay, hold on, let me blow it up. Pardon it. Let me blow it up. Okay, I'm not sure if y'all can see that, but hold up. Make sure y'all can see it. Oh, man, come on. Okay, I'm not sure if y'all can see that. But if you look at the map, this is just one map. This is one of the maps. When you look at the map, you can see out of Africa-Arabia, right? You can see where Arabia is supposed to be on the map, right? It's in the location of Arabia, right? And it says the melting pot, L3. They call it a melting pot right here. This is ancient Arabia, right? That's one. Hold up. Pull up another one. Okay. Here's another map. Oh my God. Hold on. Here's another map. You got the L3 in the green right here. You got them in East Africa right here. You got another one in the West Africa and South Africa, right? But I'm going to explain this. I just want you to see the maps right quick. No, wrong one. Hold up. You got L3 again over here in North Africa, and you got them in Arabia. Okay. Now the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the tribe of Shabazz lived in the rich Nile Valley, Egypt, and Arabia, right? But we got this group L3 in North Africa and Arabia. Brother Josh Mason said that we are Asiatics predating all the maps, and that's correct. Because I'm gonna show y'all something. Hold up. I'm gonna show y'all something. Right now, again, the L3 were predominant in North Africa, East Africa, and Arabia. That whole area is predominant with the mitochondrial DNA 50,000 years ago with the L3 mitochondrial DNA, right? That they're claiming did a back migration in Arabia. Okay, that's the other one I'm looking for. Hold on right quick. Could I use that one? Okay. Now I'm going to show y'all another map. Now, when you look on this map, you can see the haplogroup E, right? Haplogroup E is the Y chromosome from the father. When you're dealing with the Y chromosomes, right, you are dealing with the chromosome that is passed down from father to son, okay? From father to son. So this particular group that we are looking for is called haplogroup E, okay? Why? Because haplogroup E was with mitochondrial DNA L3. The mitochondrial Eve L3 was with haplogroup atom E. You understand what I'm saying? So when you have E2 or E1B1B1 or E1B1B1, E1B12, E1A, E1B1A, right? These are the subclades of these haplogroups that for the paternal side, for the man side, passing it down from father to son. These are the subclades. Right? These are the subclades. Right? Now, Brother Josh Mason made a great point. Hold on right quick. See if I got to show y'all any more maps. Right? So when you look on this map and look at Africa, you will see L3 again. Right? You will see L3 again on most of these maps in these locations. Right? L3 is the most prominent mitochondrial DNA haplogroup in Africa. Right? So hold on right quick because we ain't done. It's the reason why I'm showing y'all this stuff. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I'm going to read haplogroup E. Cause I gotta show y'all how they're related. Okay. Now, haplogroup E is the human Y-Chromosome DNA haplogroup. It is one of the two main branches of the older and ancestral haplogroup DE, the older main branch being haplogroup D. Right? But most so-called African Americans have the haplogroup E. It's the reason why I'm showing y'all this. And I'm gonna prove it to y'all. The EM96 clade is divided into two main subclades. The more common E, P147, and the less common EM47. Underhill proposed that haplogroup E may have arisen in East Africa, where mitochondrial DNA L3 originated. Some authors, as Sandra Seeker, accept the earlier position of Hammer that haplogroup E may have originated in Asia, right? But I disagree with that claim altogether, right? If you're saying it's like in Asia and not Africa, then I will have to disagree with that. But hold on 1 second. Because it's a part that I wanted y'all to see. I wanted to read. Okay, I think I found it. Okay, it says, nonetheless, in 2015, Posnick and Underhill have claimed haplogroup arose outside of Africa, arguing that model of geographical segregation within the CT clade requires just one continental haplogroup exchange E to Africa rather than three D, C, and F out of Africa. The timing of this putative return to Africa between the emergence of haplogroup E and its differentiation between Africa by 58,000 years ago is consistent with proposals based on non-Y-Chromosome data of abundant gene flow between Africa and Arabia 50 to 80,000 years ago, okay? A Eurasian center of origin and dispersal for haplogroup E has also been hypothesized based on the similar age of the clade's parents, haplogroup DE, and the mitochondrial DNA haplogroup L3. According to this hypothesis, after an initial out of Africa migration, so you can't say that if they did an out of Africa migration and they left and came back, they not African. That don't even make sense. That's why I disagree with that portion, right? These were Africans, okay? According to this hypothesis, after an initial out of Africa migration of early anatomically modern humans around 125,000 years ago, fully modern human E-carrying males are thus proposed to have back migrated from the paternal haplogroups place of origin in Eurasia around 70,000 years ago, along with females bearing the maternal haplogroup L3, okay, which is also hypothesized that to have originated in Eurasia. These new Eurasian lineages are then suggested to have largely replaced the old autonomous male and female African lineages, right? But that's not the part that I'm looking for. Okay, basically the part that I'm looking for, because I got a lot of notes. The part that I'm looking for is basically, and what I found was that modern humans had left I can't say they left Africa because they were still in Africa. Arabia, North Africa, in Egypt, that's still Africa to me. When they left East Africa, according to scholars, they are saying that they matured in Arabia and Egypt. They matured there. Their DNA, their group of people matured in those areas. And then they went back into Africa. That's why they keep calling it a back migration to Africa, although they was already still in Africa. But this time, according to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they went into Africa. Right? Into the jungles of Central Africa, right? Now, Brother Josh Mason made a good point. He said that these were Asiatic people that predated what did he say? Hold on, let me go back. Peace to you, Brother Josh. Well, I'm trying to see where the brother said that. I just want to quote him right. Brother Josh, if you can you repeat what you said? Because I can't find your comment. You said that the Asiatic black man predated something. And I was trying to make a point. Oh, yeah, I got some more. Just hang tight. Just hang tight. Okay, he said, family, we are Asiatic. We predate all the maps. Absolutely, right? So now, I found a map, right? And the brother is right. We are the Asiatic man. So when you look at this ancient map, like this one, you will see that the Afro-Asiatic language that was spoken in these areas, well, okay, let me rephrase it. The places where the mitochondrial DNA L3, okay, she's our Eve, okay, the mitochondrial Eve, and the paternal haplogroup E is our Adam, okay. Now where this DNA, right, where this DNA originated in North Africa, East Africa, and Arabia. According to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said that the tribe of Shabazz was in the Nile-rich valley of Egypt and Arabia and the Horn of Africa. So when you see the language that was predominantly spoke in those areas was the Afro-Asiatic language. Okay? Was the Afro-Asiatic language spoken in the same areas that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we was the place there. These were the places that were inhabited. Okay, when you look on my screen to your left, that yellow, all that yellow is where the Afro-Asiatic language were spoken. Okay. The languages belonging to the Afro-Asiatic family are subdivided into 6 branches. Okay, in this Proto-Afro-Asiatic language, right? You got number 1, the Berber, 2, the Shadic, 3, the Cushitic, 4, Egyptian was spoken in the Pro-Afro-Asiatic family, right? Egyptian. And I'm going to read this. It says, this branch has only one language, Coptic, which while extinct as a spoken language is still being used as a liturgical language by the Arabic speaking Coptic Orthodox Christians. The word Copt is derived from the Arabic Kuft Egyptian. And remember, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that Jesus and Moses, they both, I remember reading it in the time of What Must Be Done. He said that they spoke, he said Moses spoke a form of Egyptian Arabic, right? And he said Jesus spoke Aramaic, Arabic, and Hebrew. Okay? He said Moses spoke a Egyptian form of Arabic, and he said Jesus spoke Aramaic, Arabic, and Hebrew. Okay? And then the fifth language is Omatic. Some scholars classify West Cushitic as a separate branch called Omatic. And then you got Semitic. The Semitic languages form the only Afro-Asiatic subfamily that is extant outside of Africa. Okay? So basically they saying that the Semitic language was the only language that was spoken outside of Africa. So could it also been used in what they now call Arabia and a little bit further past Arabia in Iraq or ancient Assyria, Persia? Okay, this is how these people were able to communicate. So the proto language that was used in ancient times was an Afro-Asiatic language that was spoken in the same area, that was spoken in the same areas that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad described, where he called us the Asiatic black man. Why did he call us the Asiatic black man? Because we spoke the Afro-Asiatic languages. Because these are when you look at my screen, the yellow area, these are the areas that we have come out of. Listen to what I'm saying. This is important. This is why he called us the Asiatic black man. The black man from the East. Because we inhabited all this area over here. That's in the yellow. Right? And then what's the next part that he said? Let me go back just for who missed it, who just came in the room. I'm going to go back a little bit because I want y'all to see where we're going with this. According to the Nation of Islam, the tribe of Shabazz was the only survivor of 13 tribes that lived on Earth 66 trillion years ago. After a rogue scientist blew up the planet, splitting off the moon, the other tribes perished. The tribe of Shabazz relocated to the rich Nile Valley of Egypt and the present seat of the holy city Mecca, Arabia. It was technologically advanced society, but one faction was led by Shabazz himself into previously unoccupied areas. Hold on, did I miss my part? Hold on, I think I missed that one. Okay, all right, let me go back. It was a technologically advanced society, but one faction was led by Shabazz himself into previously unoccupied areas of Central Africa because we wanted them to be hardened. Okay, so so the messenger tells us that the tribe of Shabazz was in these areas originally. Hold on. Was in these areas originally when you look at my map where the yellow is. In the rich Nile Valley of Egypt, we was in North Africa, and we was in Arabia, we was in the Horn of Africa as well. And I heard Dr. Wesley Muhammad call them the pre-Shabazz people. The people that was, around before Shabazz even came around. But we inhabited these areas, and we spoke the Afro-Asiatic languages. Okay, and you got 6 branches of the Afro-Asiatic family that we spoke in these areas. Right? Now, the question is that you may ask, okay, how do we relate to these people? Right? Because I'm showing y'all that these people have been around this area for around about 50,000 years ago. Right? And these are the languages that they spoke. That's why the messenger called us the Asiatic black man. Right? But now, you may ask the question, you may ask, okay, hold on right quick, let me read this. It says L3 is common in Northeast Africa and some other parts of East Africa. In contrast, the other parts of Africa where the haplogroups L1 and L2 represent around 2/3 of mitochondrial DNA lineages, L3 sublineages are also frequent in the Arabian Peninsula. Okay, exactly what I said. Right? But some of you may ask, okay, how does this relate to us? Right? How did this relate to the black man in America? Well, I'm going to show you. So, now we're going to deal with mama first. Peace to you, Brother Gab Talk. Walaikum salam, sir. Now, we're going to deal with mama first. We're going to deal with her DNA lineage first. Okay? Now, according to scientists, right? The question is asked by the critics, how are we related to Shabazz? Okay, now I'm showing you the people who inhabited the areas 50,000 years ago that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad made mention to in his teachings, right? Right. So now, I'm going to read to you all of the mitochondrial DNA that is held by so-called African Americans in America, right? And this is by Derek C. Johnson, Sadeep Sidethra, Howard W. Weiner, Robert Mikowski, Ashish Kurundakar, Craig M. Wilson, and Brahim Asani, right? These are the scientists, right? And they have all of the mitochondrial DNA haplogroups that are in so-called the African American population, right? This is directly tying us to our mitochondrial Eve, our mama, who was with Shabazz 50,000 years ago. And then after I break down the DNA, we're going to kind of break down the name Shabazz and how it may have originated. And why the Master Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, called us the tribe of Shabazz. And it's going to blow your mind. Right? Now, you got the haplogroups L. All the haplogroups that is related to the Africans in Africa, most of them are L haplogroups, right? But we're dealing with L3. More specifically, we dealing with L3. Right? We ain't dealing with the other ones right now. We dealing with L3 because to us, L3 has significance. Right? So, when we go to the distribution of L3, where are all the places where L3 distributed and where did they migrate? Where did they go? Right? This is important. right? We want to know where these people were, okay? Where did they migrate? So about time when the slave master came and picked us up and put us on the slave ships. We know who those people were, right? So we gonna read. I want y'all to read with me. We're gonna start at and this is mitochondrial DNA diversity in African American population right here. So when we dealing with the L3 right here, we're gonna blow the L3 up. I want y'all to see that. We dealing with the first one, the first L3, right? Now, mind you, the messenger said that our people left the rich Nile Valley of Egypt and Arabia and the Horn of Africa and went into Central Africa, right? Now, let's go to the subclade distribution. I'm going to read. L3 has 7 equidistant descendants. L3A, L3BF, L3CD, L3E, IKX, L3H, MN, and MN. 5 are African. Okay, so the first 5, 3, all these L3s they saying are African, while 2 are associated with the out of Africa event, right? Because when our people migrated from the Horn of Africa and went up to Arabia, northeast Africa or Egypt, many of them kept going, and many of them went so far. And this is 50,000 years ago. Many of them went so far all the way to Australia. So you can find the mitochondrial DNA L3 all the way in Australia. Believe me, I've been doing the research, right? So I want to compare these L3 lineages in the African American population and our ancient ancestors, right? Now look. First one. All right, okay, I did L3. We're going to do L3B in the so-called African American population, L3B. Let's scroll down. Okay, L3B is there. Right? L3B, where did they spread? L3B spread from East Africa or the Horn of Africa into the Upper Paleolithic to Western Central Africa. Subclade spread from Central Africa to East Africa. Okay, so L3B spread from East Africa in the Upper Paleolithic to West Central Africa. And most of us who our ancestors were kidnapped were in West and Central Africa. Okay, let's go to the next one. Back to the so-called African American haplogroup population. We're going to go to L3D. L3D. L3D spread from East Africa in the Upper Paleolithic to Central Africa. Right? Again, L3D spread from East Africa in the Upper Paleolithic to Central Africa. Hold on, that ain't it. Let's do L3E. This is our mitochondrial DNA given to us from our mothers. Okay? Given to us from our mothers. But we're going to go to L3E. Okay, L3E spread from East Africa into the Upper Paleolithic to West Central Africa. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. L3E, this is right here. L3E, where my arrow is. spread from East Africa in the Upper Paleolithic to West Central Africa. It is the most common L3 subclade in Bantu-speaking populations. L3E is suggested to be associated with a Central African origin and is also the most common L3 L3E is suggested to be associated with the Central African origin and is also the most common L3 subclade amongst African Americans, Afro-Brazilians, and Caribbeans. Listen, y'all, come on, man. If you had any doubts about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, L3F. Let's go to L3F, see if we can find L3F, see what L3F talking about. L3F is located in Northeast Africa, Egypt, Sahel, and Arabian Peninsula, and Iberia. Okay? All the places where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad described. L3H. Where's L3H at? L3H almost exclusively found in East Africa. L3H1 primarily found in East Africa with branches of L3H1B1 sporadically found in Sahel and North Africa. Right? Do we have an L3X? No, I don't see L3X right now. Right? So, again, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad specifically said that all people were in the rich Nile Valley of Egypt and was in Arabia. Hold on, I wanted to show y'all something right quick before we move on. So now, we know that we have the L3 mitochondrial DNA in us. That's an ancient DNA. But remember, like I said earlier, that the paternal group, the paternal Y-Chromosome group that is passed down from father to son is haplogroup E. That is our Y-chromosome atom. And he was with our mitochondrial Eve, L3, at his origin. Well, I got some news that I would like to break to some of you, my friends, that most so-called African American males have the Y chromosome. And I'm going to read some of the subclades for you that are also in Africa. But let me show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. Now, when you look at my map, when you look at my map, you can see the E subclades all over there. E2, E1, B1, B1, E1, B1, B2, E1A, E1, B1A, okay? E1, B1, B1, okay? You can see all these E Subclades, they belong to the haplogroup family E, right? They belong to the haplogroup family E. Right? Let me get some of this stuff out of here right quick. So stuff that I don't need anymore. Get some of this stuff out of here. Okay, now let me pull up the article. That's my map right there. I just showed y'all the map. That's in Africa. Is this it? No, that's not it. Hold up. Got a lot of stuff going on here. Hold on. I think this is it. Is this it? I might have to Google it for y'all because I got so many notes, but I'm trying to get straight to it and not beat around it. No, I don't think it's that one. Let me go ahead and Google it because I thought I eat myself to know. Y'all with me? Is y'all with me? Oh, that's not the one. I'm trying to find the specific article. Please forgive your brother. I'm I think this is it right here. Okay. Yeah, I try to find it in a minute. I may do a part two, but the main point that I'm trying to get y'all to understand is that when you listen to the scholars in the community, you get the Hebrew Israelites, the Kemites, people like Brother Garfield. You know, they say that we are part of the haplogroup. Some say E1B1A and E1B1B, right? The so-called African American, right? And I looked it up, and it's true, right? Most of us, we have a diverse background when it comes to our paternal lineage. And we are from the haplogroup haplogroup E. And we are each of us are variously a part of these subclades, E1B1A, E1B1B, which is true. Right? And the haplogroup E originated in Africa, and it originated with mitochondrial DNA L3, right? So when you think about it scientifically, we can prove through DNA and genetics that we descend from a people who once lived 50,000 years ago, who carried the mitochondrial DNA L3 and the Y-Chromosome haplogroup Y. I mean, not Y, E. Okay? Many of the AC is on, Doc. It's just not working. But yeah, so when people try to accuse the Honorable Elijah Muhammad of teaching a myth, is not a myth. Because if Master Fard Muhammad was able to crack the atoms and measure air and measure the whole universe, you don't think that this man was intelligent enough to look at our very DNA? Think about that. You don't think Master Fard Muhammad, having all this wisdom, didn't have enough intelligence to look at our very DNA? and study it. Think about that. So he knew something about us that we didn't even know. Master Muhammad knew something about us that we did not know. Right? So let's go to the name Shabazz. Peace to you, Brother Art. Let's go to the very name Shabazz. Right? Let me pull up my notes. And I find it interesting what I found as well. Right, I found something very interesting. I'm gonna share my screen with y'all, cause I trust y'all. Right? Now, Shabazz. Let's go to the name Shabazz, and I might have found the origin of the name. But again, like I said, this video isn't conclusive, right? But I want to share with y'all what I found. So basically, to kind of give, okay, I'm not gonna give a summary yet until I'm done. Okay. Now, when you go to Shabazz and you look it up, you can look it up on Wikipedia. Okay, somebody gave their understanding of it, right? But when you go down to origin, right? And I'm going to read where it says origin. A 1994 article in the American Muslim claims that the name is from the Arabic words shab, a people, and az, to be mighty or glorious. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the name means indestructible or the greater takers. But it also has significance in Persian. Because Dr. Wesley said on his trip, and even the minister said when they went to Persia, that they learned that the people there carried the name Farrakhan and they carried the name Shabazz. Right? And they spelled these names exactly how we spelled it. Let me continue. Arabic word shab, a people, and az, to be mighty or glorious. There is also similar but etymologically unrelated Persian name Shabazz, meaning royal falcon, indicating royalty and nobility. The name is popular with Bosnian, Turkish, Indian, and Pakistani Muslims, right? So this isn't just a made-up name, right? This isn't just a made-up name because there's people that actually carry this name, right? But it's etymologically Persian in nature, and it means royal falcon. So I was watching a video by another brother. I can't think of his name right now. And he said that the tribe of Shabazz is really the tribe of Heru, because the Egyptians bore the symbol of Heru or Horus, the falcon-headed man. Right? And I said, wow, that's interesting, because the messenger said that our people was in the rich Nile Valley of Egypt. So I, was doing a little research. And yes, Horus is the falcon-headed deity, right? Let me read. Okay. Horus is one of the most significant ancient Egyptian deities who served many functions, most notably god of kingship and the sky. He was worshipped from at least the late prehistoric Egypt until the Ptolemaic kingdom in Roman Egypt. Different forms of Horus are recorded in history, and these are treated as distinct gods by Egyptologists. These various forms may possibly be different manifestations of the same multi-layered deity in which certain attributes or syncretic relationships are emphasized, not necessarily in opposition but complementary to one another, consistent with how the ancient Egyptians viewed the multiple facets of reality. He was most often depicted as a falcon, but most likely a lanner falcon or peregrine falcon, or as a man with a falcon head, right? So I remember watching a video with Shaka Amos, right? And he was saying that Shabazz came from Syriac, right? And he said that Master Fard Muhammad wasn't dealing with Arabic, he was dealing with Syriac. So when I did the research, I learned that Syriac is also Aramaic, which is another subgroup that's a subgroup of the Semitic family who takes root in the Afro-Asiatic language family, right? So even if the name Shabazz isn't Arabic, it's still a Semitic word, right? It's still a Semitic word. Hold on. Right? So I went and looked it up. Right? Because Syriac is related to the Assyrians. Was related to the Assyrians. So when you look up the word Shabazz, it is Persian, which is not a bad thing, which is a delightful thing. You know what I mean? All praises due to Allah. Right? So Shabazz, as you see my arrow, is Persian, means royal falcon. And above it, you can see above it, it says Al-Bazi or Baz or Bazi, Persian. The name of an Assyrian tribe, right? Falcon, right? They called it Assyrian tribe of falcon. And the Shabazz is a royal falcon. So they make a clear distinction. You got a falcon and you got a royal falcon. So I'm thinking like, damn, man. So why did the Persians, who are they calling a royal falcon? Who were they calling a royal falcon? Right? So I was doing a little research and I typed in, why did the Persians call the Assyrian tribes royal falcons, right? But I probably need to reword it, but it helped me stumble across something. When I asked the question, why did the Persians call the Assyrians tribes royal falcon? But they didn't. They just called him the falcon. But they was calling somebody else the royal falcon though. Right? But they not describing exactly who they're talking about. You follow me? So I was, looking up something and I stumbled across something called the Athenaeum. It was written a book written in 1906. It was called Athenaeum. right? I don't know if y'all can see that. Maybe y'all can see it now. Athenium, the book was written in 1906. And I was just reading the comments right here, and it said, his idea of the origin of what we call the Egyptian civilization is that Egypt was blank. As to their religion, each invading tribe had a totem, right? That of the royal tribe being a falcon, the emblem of Horus, with whom the king was always identified, right? So it's saying that each invading tribe had a totem, that of the royal tribe being a falcon, the emblem of Horus, with whom the king was always identified, right? Remember, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our people was where? In the rich Nile Valley of Egypt. And I think that we just may have cracked the code. I think we just may have cracked the code. Because think about it. The pyramids and the Sphinx is very old. It's older than what modern scholars and scientists and historians actually know. You know, the Sphinx is really a clock that goes on a 25,000 year cycle. And that's one of the reasons why we can tell that we are in the age of Aquarius. Right? Because the Sphinx is on a 25,000 year cycle. A clock. It's a clock. The speak in the Great Pyramids, those 3 pyramids, it's a clock. Right? But let me get back to what I was saying. So the messenger teaches us that this was where our people was. And we are called, who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man. Why? Because we spoke the language out of the Afro-Asiatic family. Who is the original man? The Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Remember when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was teaching, and he was saying that Hiram Abiff represents the builders of the universe. Hiram Abiff is the master architect. Okay, the master architect. Who has the ability to build a pyramid. Our people, we the ones who built the pyramids, who built the Sphinx. We are the master architects, the master builders. We were in Egypt 50 plus thousand years ago. We were in Egypt 50 plus thousand years ago. And our symbol was the falcon. But I'm gonna prove it though. Now, I told you I stumbled across some stuff today. And I wanted to know, okay, who was this? Who was the royal falcon? Okay, and why does it have relations to the word or the name Shabazz? Okay, so what I'm about to read is out of a book called From Clans to Kingdoms. From Clans to Kingdoms. Okay, written by Moret. You spell Moret M-O-R-E-T. From Clans to Kingdoms, right? Now I'm going to do a little reading. I need y'all to bear with me, but I'm about to drop something on y'all on how the name may have originated. Okay, the following period, according to the traditions contained in the Turin Papyrus, was the epoch of the kings called the followers of God, Falcon, Horus. The followers of God, Horus, or the Falcon, Shemsu Hor. That's how you say it in, I believe it's Coptic. Shemsu Hor. The later text described these Shemsu Hor as warriors, armed with arrows, javelins, and boomerangs, right? Because I heard scholars say that the Asiatics were a warlike people who march into battle bearing blazon on their shields, not two or three of the deified fetishes of the earliest times, but one alone of these gods, the falcon, Horus. That is a new step towards centralization. The god Horus imposes his cult on all Egypt. On the other hand, the king henceforth passes for the living incarnation of this god Horus. He is the falcon, Horus himself on earth, and he takes it as a name. The falcon symbol will always precede the king's personal name from this epoch. There we have a decisive moment in the history of kingship. The chief sorcerer of former days, becoming step-by-step priest king, now rises to the rank of god king. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. Horus, when one becomes a god king, he becomes Horus. Horus, the living Horus on earth, right? But it gets deeper than this. I'm going to keep reading. We lack precise information to enable us to define more exactly this decisive event, the evolution of social life in Egypt. We only know that if the followers of Horus occupied the whole land, they at least remain always divided among two kingdoms, that of Nekeb, which now boasted a temple of the falcon god Horus in the town of Nekin, and that of Butu. The dualism springing from the contrast between the narrow valley and the spacious delta persists, and it always persists even at the time now near at hand of the official unity of Egypt, which Horus was this who became a dynastic god, right? Was it the falcon of Upper Egypt, Horus the Great of Edfu, who personifies the winged solar disk in heaven, or Horus the Less, son of Osiris and Isis, the god of Lower Egypt, worship at Butu? No text settles that question. The accounts of the wars waged by the followers of Horus, the pre-Shabazz people, right, engraved on the walls of the temple of Edfu, are of late date. They record in the guise of mythical episodes in the strife between Osiris and Seth, events which may have been historical but are rendered unrecognizable by theological speculations. Whatever, let me blow it up a little bit. Whatever be their origin, the Shemsu Hor kings retain the royal insignia already borne by their predecessors, right? But in the addition to the red cap and the white mitra, they hold in their hands a shepherd's staff, bent over at the top to form a crook and an ox herd's whip. These were become the royal scepter and the magic whip. They gird about their loins and a loincloth of fine linen hitched up by an animal's tail, the trophy of the chase, recalling that they were once chiefs of nomad hunters. Right? They were once chief of nomad hunters. The royal garb is already finally created in the ritual types, which it will retain till the Roman period. Each hold on, I might have to fast forward a little bit because I don't want to lose y'all. Because what I'm trying to show y'all something. Because these royal families carried a totem, a royal totem, right, with the falcon on it, right? But I'm gonna explain. Let me fast forward a little bit. I don't want to lose y'all. Okay, the Thanite monarchy. It remained to convert the accomplished fact into a dynastic rite and to create a national tradition. That was the work of the first dynasty, of which Menes was the founder of Thinis about 3315 BC. The detailed account of these events is reserved for our books in this series on Egyptian civilization, but it is desirable here to outline the salient features of the political and social evolution achieved by the unification of Egypt. Beginning with the first dynasty, the documentation assumes a historical character. The king's tombs have been discovered at Negada, near Thebes, and at Abydos, the necropolis of the city of Thinis in Middle Egypt, which was the first capital. They contain stelae bearing the king's names and palettes dated by the king's inscriptions mentioning events of political, religious, and military life. From this epoch, there is a temple of Heracleopolis with the gold image of the god Horus and stone statues of the kingly donors. Right? This Horus god is important. Listen. Hold on one second. Okay. Yet at the ascension of the first dynasty, the brain of the Egyptians had only recently evolved its theories of the absolute power of the kings and invented writing to express them. Ideas and words still possess a quite fresh vigor and the pictographic symbols of magic power of expression. We must interpret them in their full sense if we try to analyze their terms. The official titles chosen by Menes, he was one of the first pharaohs. He was the pharaoh of the first dynasty, right? The official titles chosen by Menes and his successors give voice to the conception of a king then entertained. The first is the name of the falcon Horus, the god of the Shemsu Hor. Okay, so this king, the main title is Horus, right? He's the pharaoh of the first dynasty. He's royalty, right? And the title, the official title is Horus, right? Let me continue. The first is the name of the falcon Horus, the god of the Shemsu Hor. That means that the king is the falcon incarnate. In the classical period, the texts dilate with enthusiasm on this identity of nature between the king and the falcon god. A royal prince is called, as a baby, the falcon in his nest. When he ascends the throne, he is the falcon on his palace. If the king die, he is the falcon winging his way to heaven, to return to the bosom of the god whence he is sprung. In truth, this falcon is no longer the totemic animal, father of the isolated clan of the falcons. It is the national god, listen, it is the national god of Egypt, which the Shemsu Hor have unified. Right? It gets deeper. Heru or Horus, the falcon, is the national god of Egypt, which the Shemsu Hor have unified. By virtue of this, the king identifies himself with it and makes the falcon, makes the falcon the symbol of his authority and his first official title. But there is nothing abstract about this symbol. It conserves all the original realism. And so the falcon appears borne upon the shield, going before the king in the pictures of royal victories and feasts. Okay, so they are bearing this symbol. They are bearing this symbol of the falcon when they go out conquering. They put the falcon on a totem. Listen. He fights for the kings, seizes his foes, and brings them captive to him. To write the name of King Ahab Menes is ideographic signs two arms holding targe and javelin. The sculptors of Negadah depict the javelin targe as clutched in the talons of the falcon. Right? They clutched in the talons of the falcon. However, there were other clans among the Shemsu Hor with other fetishes to protect them. One of the predecessors of Menes revered a scorpion as patron. Right? So each clan has a totem with different animals. Okay, each clan has a totem that represents them as a people, right? Now listen. Okay, so Menes revered a scorpion as patron. The insect not only gave his name to this king scorpion, but entered the battlefield as his champion and destroyed the enemy's towns with a mattock. Another of his predecessors, Narmer, took as his name and represented on earth the fish. It too comes to life to brandish a mace with both hands over the head of a defeated Asiatic. Okay, this is when you got the Asiatics and the Egyptians going to war with one another. The pre-Shabazz versus the Shabazz, right? Menes and his successors have absorbed all these clans and their chiefs. So every time Menes and his successors went to war with these other clans and their chiefs, they took their totems and they took their gods, right? Menes and his successor have absorbed all these clans and their chiefs, totems, gods, and all other appurtenances. That result was not achieved. Hold on right quick. That result was not achieved without conflicts and reciprocal concessions. The totem gods of each of the old kingdoms of Nekeb and Butu won the privilege of being chosen after the falcon as official names of the king. Right? Hold on. So the lily or rose of the south, the bee of the north, the vulture of Nekeb, and the Uraeus of Butu will ever denote the sovereigns of north and south, the masters of the two crowns. So Pharaoh bought his triumph by adopting side by side with the falcon 4 of the old rival totems. Right? So he unified all the kingdoms after he defeated them and put them on side of the falcon, but the falcon was number 1. Right? So Pharaoh bought his triumph by adopting side by side with the falcon 4 of the old rival totems. In return, they lent him their material and moral support. The patrons of the old capitals infused their life and authority into the veins of the king of unified Egypt. The same fate awaited other emblems of clans or regional groups: the bull, the man-headed sphinx, the crocodile, the lotus of Thebes, and the papyrus of the Delta. They seem once to have been the totems of clans conquered by the unifiers of the Egyptians' land, and the memory was preserved in the royal inscriptions. Look at the epithets conceded by Seti I about 1400 BC. Divine falcon with mottled feathers, he sweeps through the sky like the majesty of Ra. Jackal swift in pursuit, he travels round this earth in an hour. Mesmeric lion, he springs over the unknown roads of foreign lands. Okay, these people, the Egyptians, is going to foreign lands and they conquering, right? Mighty bull with sharp horns, he tramples on the Asiatics and crushes the Hittites. Right? The Hittites, right? Where are the Hittites located? I looked it up earlier. The Hittites are in Asia Minor, or modern day Turkey and Persia, right? Now listen. Mesmeric lion, he springs over the unknown roads of foreign lands. mighty bull with sharp horns. He tramples on the Asiatics and crushes the Hittites. If we restore these ceremonial titles, the full sense which they certainly had at the beginning, we shall understand the tie which unties Pharaoh to the old clan chief. The latter already was by virtue of his practical experience the respected counselor of the most dreaded man of the clan. Hold on right quick, hold on. Because I want to get to the meat of this. Okay, I'm just going to keep reading because I don't want to lose it, but I want y'all to understand it. If we restore to these ceremonial titles the full sense which they certainly had at the beginning, we shall understand the tie which unites Pharaoh to the old clan chief. The latter already was by virtue of his practical experience, the respected counselor and the most dreaded man of the clan, the magician, then the priest of the fetish which had become a god. Pharaoh, the heir of his prestige, has climbed to the topmost stair. He is the God incarnate upon earth. With this moral authority enjoyed by the king, material power was combined. At first, the power which physical strength in battle secures, then which the richest gained by conquest, or the play of customs bestows. It is certain that the Thinite kings possessed great resources in lands and men. Okay, they created a royal domain, the pick of the land of the conquered clans, and peopled it with their innumerable prisoners of war. The treasures accumulated in their tombs and mention of many officials in charge of the agricultural and industrial activities show that the king was rich in land and slaves. He will tend more and more to lay claim to the whole land as the living representative of the heir of the clan's gods. His grasp will in fact close on the whole land at the time of the Memphite Empire 300 years later. Well, hold on one second. Hold on. All right, hold up. To sum up, Menes and his immediate successors had devoted all their efforts to the concentration into a single realm of the two kingdoms of the south and north, and into a single person of the political and religious authority, and the wealth previously diffused and dispersed among the clans, the chiefs, and the first kings. In the course of this account, we have given the name totem to the protector first of the royal clan and then of the dynasty. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. In the course of this account, we have given the name totem, the horse, right? The falcon, to the protector first of the royal clan and then of the dynasty, right? Meaning that not only the king, the pharaoh's name was The name of the falcon represented the pharaoh, but it also represented the whole people. Okay? The moment has come to try to define what primitive Egypt owes to the institution of the totemic clan, which in other primitive societies plays such an essential role. Totem seems the word best suited to express the part played by the falcon horse in relation to the first pharaohs, where the system of totemic clans exists. The totem, animal or otherwise, give its name to the territory occupied by the clan. In Egypt, a falcon now existed. I'm going to repeat that. Totem seems the word best suited to express the part played by the falcon horse in relation to the first pharaohs, where the system of totemic clans exists. The totem, animal or otherwise, gives its name to the territory occupied by the clan. In Egypt, a falcon now exists. So what they are saying, family, is that every different people at that time, so for instance, 50,000 years ago, every people or clan, before they had kingdoms, every clan or tribe had a totem of an animal depiction that represented their leader and them as a people. So I won't say to a conclusion. Okay, I won't say that I came to a conclusion, but I came to an understanding of why the word Shabazz is referring to a royal falcon. It's referred to a royal falcon because the king, well, not the king, the pharaoh of Egypt and of the first dynasty and the ones before him, right? They carried a totem, right? And each clan or tribe had a totem of an animal on it that represents that clan. But so the Egyptians, their animal that represented them was the falcon. And also they were royalty. They were the rulers. They went out conquering lands and men. They went out conquering lands and men. So the Persians referred to those royal Egyptians as Shabazz, the royal falcon. The royal falcon. See now it makes sense. Now it makes sense because the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, again, remember, said that our people occupied the seat of Arabia, the Horn of Africa, and the Nile-rich valley of Egypt. The Nile-rich valley of Egypt, 50,000 years ago. So imagine these people. They weren't even. Didn't even have kingdoms set up yet. But they had clans. They were very much civilized. They might have had a kingdom. But each clan of people had a totem. Right? Let me see if I could probably find one. Let me see if I can find one. You can find some image of some. Right? So that was the symbol. Okay, so now it makes sense why Master Fard Muhammad would refer to us as the lost tribe of Shabazz. It was called Clans into Kingdoms. The name of the book? No. The book name is From Tribe to Empire. From Tribe to Empire. Social organization among primitives and in the ancient East. Okay, so just know and understand that our ancestors' totem was a falcon. The royal falcon. That's why it's Persian. That's why we can find people in Persia with the same name, Shabazz. It means the royal falcon. We understand the origin because the royal falcon represented the royal falcon totem that represented the Egyptians pre-dynastic times. The first dynastic pharaoh Menes also carried the totem, but they was carrying these each clan had a totem before he unified Egypt. Hold on 1 second. So to give a quick summary on my findings, basically what your brother is sharing with y'all, and thank you for sticking around and watching this video. To summarize what I found the people who lived in Africa, on the Horn of Africa, in Egypt and Arabia, between 45,000 to 70,000 years ago. And I found that there were a group of people genetically on the paternal side, the haplogroup E, and the mitochondrial DNA L3, that today modern so-called African Americans are direct descendants of these haplogroups. The paternal haplogroup E, and which is represents the atom, and the mitochondrial DNA L3, the Eve, the man and woman. They both inhabited the lands that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad described when he said that our people inhabited the rich Nile Valley of Egypt and Arabia, and even in the Horn of Africa. And the languages that those people spoke were from the Afro-Asiatic family. And in the Afro-Asiatic family, you have 6 groups. And Arabic is one of, not Arabic, the Semitic is one of them. The Semitic languages and Egyptian languages are a couple of the languages out of the Afro-Asiatic family language group spoken in those areas. That's why he referred to us as the Asiatic black man and woman. Okay? The Afro-Asiatic, the man and woman. These are the languages that we spoke in that area 50,000 years ago. But these are proto-Afro-Asiatic languages. Proto-Afro-Asiatic languages. So I don't know necessarily what they were called 50,000 years ago, but these are the languages that originated in those areas that the messenger described to us. And it is, and the name makes sense. The name would be correct, and it makes sense to call us the lost tribe of Shabazz, because the reason why those people carry that name, I'm giving y'all the why now. The reason why those people carrying that name is because they were a clan, and the totem animal that represented their clan, which was a royal clan, a royal bloodline, was a falcon. So the Persians and other people referred to them as Shabazz, or the royal falcon. So it is befitting for Master Fard Muhammad to call the descendants, the direct descendants of those people, the lost tribe of Shabazz, because we descend from a people who live in Egypt, Arabia, and the Horn of Africa. Why? Because we share the same DNA, we share the same Y-chromosomes and the mitochondrial DNA from the man and woman who lived in those areas 50,000 years ago. So this is the information that your brother has uncovered when it's dealing with that portion of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings. That is I already got something to drink, sister. Thank you. So, I mean, does anybody have any questions that I can answer before we check out? Does anybody have any questions for me? Give me some dialogue. You know, cause I believe this stuff to be true. I wouldn't waste my time with it if I didn't believe it to be true. But I personally believe that if we are going to vindicate the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have to do it through science. Brother, which picture? Yeah, I got the picture right here, brother. I just gotta I gotta get a frame for it. Yeah, so we definitely was able to identify and target through genetics, through DNA, people in the areas that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that these people were located. And he said that these people went into the jungles of Africa. They went into Central Africa. Well, I showed you in this video, in this lecture, where the L3 mitochondrial DNA haplogroup spread through Central and West Africa, and the paternal Y-Chromosome E was also present wherever she went. The mitochondrial E, wherever she went, the Y-chromosome atom was with her, or vice versa. Wherever Y-chromosome atom was, mitochondrial DNA Eve followed him. Okay? And when they left and they came over to Central and West Africa, where our ancestors were, that wicked white man came and scooped us up, put us on slave ships, and brought us here to the hells and wilderness of North America. So if the man Shabazz existed 50,000 years ago, there's a DNA and genetic footprint that he left behind. So I ask the question again. Do you think a man like Master Fard Muhammad being able to crack open all the atoms, he was able to measure the air, measure the breath, he was able to measure the universe, measure the planet, measure the oceans, the hilltops, the land, okay? And you don't think that he has enough wisdom and intelligence to go back and look at and trace our DNA on where did we came from? And Brother Josh Mason makes a great point. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that the tribe of Shabazz went into the jungles to make us harder, to bring us closer to nature. So if you paid attention to this video, to this lecture, I show you how the Y-chromosome atom and the mitochondrial DNA Eve went into the jungle, went into Central Africa. Okay, and the messenger said we went up in there to make us stronger, to make us harder, to make us closer to nature, to be able to withstand slavery. Yes, Sir John Hawkins stole most of us out of West Africa and Central Africa. When he first brought the slaves over here, 1555. Okay, we were carrying the DNA, the very DNA of the Shabazz, or the royal falcon. And this tells us if we were the royal falcon, then yes, we created. If we were the Shabazz people, we lived in a civilized society. We the ones that built the pyramids. We the ones that built the Sphinx and all those great structures over there in that area. And the messenger said that Shabazz left civilization to live a jungle life. That's in the supreme wisdom. He said that Shabazz left civilization to live a jungle life. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. Because we know what a civilization was. Brother TYOGD said, we now know L3 moves in the earth in Africa. All subclades are accounted for. Absolutely. Brother said, nature of kinky hair dates to the tribe of Shabazz. Yeah, I did a video breaking down how the tribe of Shabazz hair became kinky. And I had a conversation with Dr. Wesley Muhammad, and I agree with him based on my research as well, that everybody that you see, and we're going to exclude white people. We're not going to talk about the white man right quick, but every original people that you see with straight hair are pre-Shabazz people. Meaning that that's how we looked before we went into Central Africa or the jungles of Africa. That's how we looked. Yes, it's called 9 ether hair. So forgive me if I wasn't as organized. Inshallah, I will get a little bit more organized with this information and make it a little more organized, because certain notes I couldn't find, because I got so many notes and I couldn't find certain ones. You know what I mean? Forgive me for that. But again, that still don't change this information that I just brought to you, because you got brothers like Brother Polite, Sarnetta, Young Pharaoh, all them try to say that Minister Farrakhan is anti-African. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is anti-African, which is a lie, which is false. Which is false. And I prove their teachings that through genetics. So I want somebody to be objective and take me to task and challenge me on this. Ask any question that you want to ask. Now, I might not got an answer that you would like for me to give, but I got only what I have to present based on what I found. And what I'm saying is that there were a people who lived in the areas that the messenger mentioned in his teachings. There were people there 50,000 years ago who went by the name Shabazz. who went by the name Shabazz as a clan because their totem or their god, the animal that represented them, the god that represented them, was a falcon. They were a royal clan, so they was referred to as the royal falcon. Thus, you get the name, the Persian name, Shabazz. So, I mean, just if this making sense, family, let me know. Yeah, don't y'all get me on the 9 eat the hair again. You know what I mean? Get me on that 9 eat the hair, man. But of course, because just like the messenger said, that they were moving and traveling and migrating to different locations, their appearance changed. Their appearance changed. And I already gave the science on that, on how it's possible for their appearance to change the way it did. But I mean, you know, just the research is just leading me to know that we are the descendants of ancestors who built civilization all in that area, all in the Holy Land, all in Egypt, Mesopotamia, you know, Sumeria, all that stuff was us. All that stuff was us. But remember, there was a group of them who was already a part of a tribe called Shabazz, and they split from the rest of the tribe and went into the jungles of Africa. Well, Brother Corey Johnson asks, how did their appearance change? Because when you go into the center of Africa, in Central Africa, that's where the equator is. And that's the hottest place on the planet, where the equator is. And that's what's getting the most sunlight. So when you add heat and humidity to a person's hair, their hair begins to crink up and shrink and curl up. Okay? It begins to kink up because of the heat and the humidity. And this is why it's called 9 ether hair. Because ether is a gas. Ether is a gas. And what happens when you put fire to gas? It burns. It burns. And they say that that's the origin of the name Ethiopian. The original name was Ethiopian, who are also in like the Horn of Africa. But inshallah, we might do a part 2 if need be. If I can stumble across any more important documentation and information, we may do a part 2. Now, I'm not, Brother Ricky, I ain't going to go back in on the hair, beloved. They just have to go back and watch my video on that, because that's just a whole nother subject in itself. But how many of y'all believe what y'all heard today to be the truth and good for our people? So I'm going to ask y'all to go ahead and share this video, okay? Share this video, get the word out. You know, and if you got any questions for me, please ask them now. I got a few more minutes. I'm just glad I did it. I've been researching it for a minute. And I'm glad I was able to present some information. All praise is due to Allah. Now, if I asked y'all, do y'all remember anything what was said tonight? How give me a percentage of how much y'all think that y'all remembered and can retain. Man, I appreciate y'all even more, Brother Josh, especially you, brother. Thank you, brother. Love you. But give me a percentage of how much y'all think that y'all remember that we talked about tonight. Give me a percentage. Okay. Okay, about 50%. Anybody else? About plus 75. Okay, I can live with that. Yeah, I mean, fam, because look, it's important that y'all, some of us may not have the time to sit down and do the research, which is understandable, but just be able to understand the fundamentals. That's why I'm going to try to repackage it in a better way to where you can remember more of it. You know what I mean? Because it's important, because there's people out here challenging this information that was given to us by our leaders. And if we can't be able to prove it and defend it with actual science and mathematics, then we're going to take L's. Okay, I'll do that. Brother made a good suggestion. If I could do a part 2 and cover just the 3 of the subclades, that will be smooth. Then hit the Hawks later. Okay. You mean the Falcons. Okay, I can do that. You know. Next time I'm gonna break it down in the 3 parts again. I'm gonna do the mitochondrial Eve, L3 haplogroup, and where she's designated. And I'm going to do the paternal Y-Chromosome haplogroup E and where that's designated. and I'm going to go and break down and give the history of the name again. Okay? Because those are the three major points that we got to remember. We got to remember where our Y-chromosome father came from. He came out of haplogroup E. Most Hebrew Israelites and them, they got it right when they say, E1B1A, E1B1B, okay? And, the Kemites and them too. And they trace their lineage back to their fathers, okay? The conscious community is already aware that most African American men, so-called African American men, have this DNA strand out of the haplogroup E, the Y chromosome E. Okay? So y'all got to remember that part. And then you also have to remember where our ancient mothers came from. Mitochondrial DNA L3, and where she's designated. Okay? And then also you have to remember where the name Shabazz originated and how those ancient Egyptians got the name Shabazz, or the royal falcon, which is a Persian origin. You see how I connected all these things? How I connected it? How I show where the mitochondrial Eve is in the locations where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad stationed the tribe of Shabazz, and with her there was a man with her, Y chromosome Adam. Okay, they were together where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad designated the tribe of Shabazz. They left where he designated them, and went into the jungles or Central Africa. Okay? And later on down the line, just so happened the so-called modern African Americans here today just so happens to have the same DNA from our paternal and maternal grandparents. Yeah, I'm in California, Hairstyles Bayona. It's really that hot. Plus, I turned the fans off because I didn't want the fans to get all in the microphone messing up the recording. But that's good that y'all remember something. Y'all might not be able to explain it now. But if you watch it again, you might be able, you might understand what we're doing. But brother made a good point, and I'm gonna do these again, but I'm gonna break them up into sections, into portions, to make it a more palatable. So you can consume it, you can learn it, and be able to teach it to somebody else. But I just want to say, yeah, don't doubt the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Don't doubt Master Farah Muhammad at all. Don't doubt them at all. They knew what they were talking about. I believe that Master Farah Muhammad knew this. What I shared with y'all tonight, I believe personally that Master Farah Muhammad knew this stuff already and taught it to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The only thing is, the honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't break it down and going in to our actual DNA. He didn't actually go into the DNA. They just gave us the history and basically said, y'all figure it out. If you a believer and you really believe in these teachers, then you will go and show these teachers approve. You will go and learn this and teach it. That's what I believe. I believe that Master Farah Muhammad already knew this. Because why would he tell the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to call us the lost tribe of Shabazz? The lost tribe of Shabazz. Think about that. And related us to a very ancient people. You know, I mean, come on, like, you know, who in their right mind can think of these elaborate teachings and teach it as if it's true? If this isn't a being who knows exactly what they're talking about. Brother Saluddin said evolution of the understanding of the teachings which we already have. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if what Master Farah Muhammad said is true and it was right and exact, then I asked the question that I asked in the beginning again. By what way do we prove these teachings to be true if we can't go directly to a book and read it exactly how he taught it? Hairstyles Biona asks, have you read Alan X's book? No, I have not. No, I have not. What is the book name and what is it about? What is the name of the book and what is it about? I think this is the brother who wrote the book Master Farah Muhammad Spoke the Languages of the Birds or something to that degree. I believe that's who you may be referring to. I need to get that book and to understand that and understand what that means. No. I have not read any of his books. But I think I have seen a brother at Savior's Day selling his books. I just never copped one of his books. Brother said, I now see why the minister said do Dianetics course. We have to learn how to learn. Sounds simple. Yeah. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I think Brother Reza gave me that book. Yeah, Brother Reza gave me that book. Yep. Brother TY, you said you need a complete book package, recommendation, and syllabus. Are you referring to this topic? Are you referring to this topic? Hairstyles by owner. I see your comments. Are you referring to me? Yeah, so yeah, it's been a long night hanging out with y'all, but I enjoyed it, have fun. All praises due to Allah. Yeah, I need to just go ahead and I got the book. I just need to read it. I just got so many books that I ain't even read yet. Wow. Brother TY said, yes, sir. There are several books on the tribe of Shabazz, but none cover this genetic info. Wow. Wow, that's a big statement. That's a big statement. I think I just might do that. I think I just might do that. I think I might put together something like a syllabus or a little book and put all the sources and stuff in there that I pulled from. It's not gonna be a big old book. It's just gonna be. I think it's gonna be something small, nothing huge. But that's a good point. Cause I think one thing that kept me from doing this video, because I know brother Dr. Wesley has undergone this study as well, probably long before I even joined the nation, and he's been working on it, but he's currently working on other subjects. So I didn't want to necessarily do it because I didn't know exactly what type of information he had, and I know it's some good information. I spoke to the brother over the phone about it several times, and I received a lot of good information from him as well. But I didn't want to necessarily pull from what he had, and I shared to him what I had, and he was already familiar with some of it. It kind of kept me from doing it. But again, he was already familiar with some of the stuff I had, so I said, I just go through with it. Brother said, you really went in. All praises due to Allah. Brother TY said, I believe 2 to 3 books will break it totally down. Dr. Wesley Muhammad does touch on research, but not genetic material. Right. And again, because when I was having when I stumbled across the information, I hit brother up to see what type of information he had, and he didn't really go into that either, but I don't know if he had it in the background, in the cut. So, and I kind of gave him a little bit of what I came across, and some of it he was familiar with, but he didn't really delve into it because he has so many different projects. But besides myself, I don't know anybody that has dealt with the genetics as it relates to our history and our ancestry. I don't know anybody that's ever done that and linked us to the tribe of Shabazz genetically. I don't know anybody that's ever done that myself. And I was inspired by Allah to even want to look it up. Brother Ricky said, if we do as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us to do, we would have the devil wrapped around our pinky finger in 6 months. TY, I made you a moderator, brother. Hairstyles by owner, I'm going to make you a moderator too. Yeah, Hiram Abiff got hit over the head. Dr. Wesley Muhammad touches on pigmentation and phenotype research. He does. And that's how my first video that I did when I was breaking down kinky hair in the tribe of Shabazz, I went over some of that history, breaking down pigmentation and phenotypes, and also how the hair became kinky. His work inspired that. His work definitely inspired that. Dr. Marole said, shout out to Elijah Farrakhan, the grandson of Elijah Muhammad, and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Yeah, that's my brother, Elijah Farrakhan, ain't no joke. That's why it baffles me, man, just to hear what some of these individuals be saying, man. Y'all don't even know. But yeah, you make a great point, and I think that I will go through with that, breaking that down. This was the coming out party, I guess, for that information. But I think I will, if I'll try to learn how to put together a book. Brother Reza got a book. Brother Ben got a book. Well, I mean, Malcolm Flex can have a book too, right? All praise is due to Allah. So, I mean, before we go, does anybody have any questions for Malcolm Flex TV? And don't be shy. Y'all can make donations too. We accept donations. But anybody got any questions? I don't care what it is, as long as it's related to the topic, man. I wanna answer a question related to the topic. And you can get your shirts from a pieceofgod.com from our brother Khalil. Soldier. Hairstyles by owner. We can see your comments. We can see your comments, sister. Okay, brother Ricky said he good. Well, if all y'all good, then we can go. All praises due to Allah. I mean, I can still pull in a few viewers. All praises due to Allah, though your brother been gone for about a month. Your brother was dealing with some stuff, man, so we good. Allah's God. And Allahu Akbar. So, yeah, we getting ready to be out. This is your brother, Malcolm Flex TV. I thank you and appreciate all my brothers and sisters for joining me tonight, sticking with me, learning. participating in the live streams, in the comment sections, you know, encouraging and inspiring your brother to write his first books. You know, inshallah, we can put something together. I'm going to do some research on how we can possibly make that happen, and maybe I can get some advice from my brothers on how they were able to get theirs transcribed, so we can put something together, some scholarly work, you know, and we out. Assalamu alaikum. I still see your shadow